What's up, world? Thanks for jumping in for another ride. Today, we're going to take a look at the 2025 Ford Maverick's newly updated 8-inch gauge display and a 13.2-inch infotainment system. It's ought to be fun, so let's get right into it. Over on the left side of the steering wheel, we have our audio controls at the bottom, and we have our cruise control settings just above that. And you can see that I actually activated the cruise control set just above that 21.3. And that 21.3 is the estimated mileage on battery only power. If we move across the bottom just under that, we have an ambient temperature outside of 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is adjustable. You can do it in Fahrenheit or Celsius. Moving across the bottom to the right from that, we have our park, reverse, neutral, and drive, so that's displayed in the yellow. Moving across to the far right over there, you can see we have 52.2 miles remaining on the gasoline engine, and we have our gas gauge all the way over to the right, and our seatbelt indicator just about 3/4 of the way up of that gasoline level indicator. As we move up from the center display there with the little Maverick, we have our compass direction, so northwest is the way we're facing, and we can set our speed to miles per hour or kilometers per hour. And we have that green indicator for the hybrid power. Now, over on the right side of the steering wheel is where there is going to be a ton of control for that 8-inch display. And over at the bottom of the steering wheel, you can see that we have our controls for hands-free driving for our cell phone communications. And the modes just above our cell phone controls are going to be mode left and right. And so if we push mode to the left, we're going to get our drive modes. So we're going to start out in normal, and that is going to give us balanced everyday driving. We're going to go over to the left, and we're going to go to efficient or eco driving. If we go to the left again, we're going to get wet, icy snow road conditions. Now, as we work our way back over to the right with our right control, we're going to get sport mode, and we're going to get tow haul mode. So we're going to go back over to our normal setting. And then on our steering wheel controls, if we go over to the button with the 3 lines, we're going to push that. And that's going to bring us to our menu settings. So we can use OK and our up and down arrows to scroll through those settings. So here we can control our presets. And you can see that we have multiple AM and FM presets as well as Sirius XM radio. And so you can see that there is an absolute ton of preset memory for the audio controls. And as we go down, this would be your phone controls, but we do not have a phone paired at this time. So down in settings, and so the first thing we can go to in settings is going to be screen content. So if we choose screen content by pushing OK, we're going to go down to a secondary speedometer. And so that secondary speedometer would give you kilometers and miles per hour. We can also change our left gauge mode. If we engage power gauge, that would give us an indication for our hybrid mode. And we can also engage brake coach, which that would assist with giving us the maximum amount of efficiency for the regenerative braking for the hybrid system. Down on digital speedo, if we select that, we can select a round or a digital speedometer. And as you can see, at the moment, we have a digital display. So if we go to round, we're going to back out of this. And you can see that it gives us a traditional round speedometer display right in the middle of the 8-inch display screen. If we go down to vehicle settings, you can see that we can activate a neutral tow, and that would be for towing the little Maverick behind an RV or something like that if someone is out traveling. Now, once we're back in our menu, if we go down, it will take us to another view. And so we can go to My View. And so from there, we can configure what our personal preference of our view on the display is. So we have trip 1, trip 2, this particular trip, fuel economy, EV coach, now playing for your audio, navigation, and your tire pressure monitoring. From there, we have trip 1, and that is fairly self-explanatory. And we also have EV coach. And so you can see that gives us the display for EV coach over on the right side. If we go on through those settings, we can go to audio, compass, tire pressure, and back to our trip 1. If we go down below our trip and economy, you can see that we can go to towing, and that's going to give us a trailer light status in case we have a faulty light on our trailer, and towing status, so we can see our degrees of pitch and roll on the display for towing status. If we go down to status information, that is just basically going to give us our seatbelt indicators, vehicle maintenance. It's going to give us our oil life percentage and the tire pressure monitoring again. Audio controls. And so we can set all of our presets, AM, FM, and XM radio from there. And again, down to phone. And a lot of this stuff is just going to circle back to the same place where it was before. It is just a different way to get there. And you can see that we do not have a phone paired. And so if we go all the way back down to settings again, and it's just going to circle back to that original main menu that we were in. And that completes the 8-inch digital instrument cluster. And so let's move over to the 13.2-inch infotainment system. Okay, so in our 13.2-inch infotainment system, we're going to start out at the home screen. So we can just push home up there on the top left. And now all of the HVAC or heating and cooling controls for the 2025 Ford Maverick are now in the infotainment. So if we go over here, we can basically set our temperature with this slider or the up and down arrows, or we can just plus and minus. So that is how that is basically controlled for our HVAC system. That is going to be our fan speed. So as we go up and down, we can basically set it to control that auto speed as that temperature rises up and down. If we go all the way down, we can set it to the bottom. If we go over here, we can control our fan speed manually. So you can see we can go from basically 0 to 7. And that is going to control that. Also, just like over on our temperature, we can use the buttons up and down or the plus and minus to control our fan speed. Across the bottom from where our auto is over to the right, we have our defrost. So we can go to max for that. We're going to shut that off, go back over to auto. We can also open up this climate control display and it will give us our defrost. If we want our dash vents, if we want the heat down at the bottom, we can also go over to max AC. And so that will basically be more or less an intuitive control for wherever you want your HVAC or your air conditioning to be directed. And over at the very top left of the climate control, we have a power button if you just want to turn the system off. If we push one of those buttons again, it just goes back to our home screen. Over to the right of that, we get our recirculation for the air conditioner. And if we toggle it off, then we get fresh air coming in, and on, we get recirculation to maintain that cool temperature or hot temperature if you're in a northern climate. Over to the right of that, we can turn our AC compressor on and off, and it is just a simple toggle on and off, just like the recirc. Over to the left of our home screen is going to be our audio controls, and we can either toggle it on via the touch screen, and we can scroll through our channels like so. And if we touch it again, we're going to get our full display. And as you can see, we do not have a phone paired, but we have FM, XM satellite radio, and we have all of our presets. So you can set any preset that you want across the bottom. Now, if we have our audio display up, if we swipe up over here, we can go to our fuel economy and driving, and it will give us an average and also electric driving modes. And if we swipe up again, we can get our trips. So we can select from trip 1 or trip 2. And those trips will also give us our total miles driven and how many miles we've driven in electric mode. Now, at the top right of that, again, just like over on the 8-inch display, we're also going to have ambient temperature, so we're about 75 degrees outside. To the left of our temperature, we're going to have Wi-Fi connectivity features. And so if you have a home Wi-Fi network, you can actually go ahead and connect to your Wi-Fi, and this has over-the-air updates on the 2025 Ford Maverick. So if we go into Wi-Fi, you can see that it is toggled on, and we can see available networks, which we are not going to connect to a network at this time. And we can toggle on and off Wi-Fi available notification. And if we go to connected vehicle features, that's going to give us telematics, and that is basically available Wi-Fi features for updates. And it also assists with fleet vehicles. We have our privacy settings, which is fairly self-explanatory. We have share vehicle analytics, and basically that will share performance and feedback to Ford. We can share media analytics, and basically that will be sharing information as far as what audio you prefer to listen to, things like that, to Ford as well. Speech recognition feedback, and so speech recognition is similar to Windows speech recognition, and it just assists with recognize your voice and particular tones, and as far as commands for the system. So feature settings in Ford Assist is just basically your voice command features, so there is really not much to change there, so it's pretty self-explanatory. Sirius XM 360L is basically just additional content on Sirius XM radio. And in Bluetooth settings, this is where you would go to connect your smartphone. So this little Maverick is equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And if you want to change your vehicle name for your Bluetooth display, you can give whatever name you want to this little Ford Maverick, and right now it is just named Ford Maverick. Wireless app projection allows you to mirror some of your smartphone apps directly to this screen. So whatever your screen on your phone displays will be displayed on this. And obviously we do not have anything connected at the time, and you will need to use a USB for the app projection. And again, we're back to Wi-Fi. And again, some of this stuff just circles back around. You can obviously toggle Wi-Fi, or you can go to your information here if you want to get to those Wi-Fi settings. Also, for your audio controls, I want to note that you can just push the center of the volume button and it will power off your audio system. Over to the right of that is where you would add your smartphone, so you can just do that from your home screen. So if you just push home, it will take you right to add phone, and that makes that a simple setup. So again, a lot of this stuff just circles back to the same information, just multiple ways to get there. So if we go over here to our top right, just below where our temperature and our Wi-Fi display is, we can tap on settings, and that will give us a lot of that same information. So we have phone, we have general, and so we can choose what language. We have our temperature unit, so you can select from Fahrenheit and Celsius. We have measurement unit, so we can select our miles or our miles per gallon. Tire pressure monitoring system, we have touchscreen beep, so we can turn our touchscreen on and off. So if we do that, obviously we're not going to get anything. We're going to turn it back on. We have About Sync, and what About Sync basically is going to be what version of Sync 4 that you're using as far as updates and things like that. We have software license, so that is just going to basically give us whatever licensing information is available for the Sync 4 and the Ford software. We can go over to reset, and basically we can do a master reset on this, and that is obviously not what we want to do on this, but just know that if you purchase a Ford Maverick that is maybe used or it had someone's previous information in it, you can just go over to the master reset and start this thing back over at the way Ford intended it to come from the factory, and you can reset the entire system. I need to interrupt this video for just one moment to take care of a couple of things. I need to thank our friends over at Paul Murray Ford in Kaufman, Texas. Paul Murray Ford has been continually family owned and operated since 1952. They have the capacity and the know-how to place any of your custom Ford orders. They keep an extensive inventory of new and used vehicles, as well as they have a full service and parts department to assist with all of your needs. So please check out paulmurrayford.com. Also, I want to thank you for clicking or tapping on this video. We truly believe that time is our most valuable asset, and you spending your time with us on this channel is truly appreciated. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and click or tap on that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button, and make sure to check out the link down in the description below to check out all the latest cool guy or gal merch in the Downshifting Merch Shop. And now back to our video. If we go over to display, we can tap on calm screen, and it will basically just make this a neutral screen. And so that is all you get out of that. And so if you're going on a long drive and you don't want a bunch of stuff going on, you can just tap on calm screen, and that's the information you're going to get, time and date. And in brightness, so we can set our brightness level on this screen. And so if we go +1, you can see it goes up, and then we can go down. So the factory setting at 0 is probably the optimal setting for daytime. If we go down to mode, so if we tap on mode, currently, we can see that it is still set in auto, and we can set it for day. We can also set it for night, which is going to give us a darker screen. Me personally, I do prefer the auto. If we move over to the top right, we're going to go to vehicle, and so we can set our idle time, and currently it is set for a 30-minute max idle, and it will actually give you a warning if it's going to be idling more than 30 minutes, but just know that you can set your idle time for 30 minutes, so if you're maybe sitting in your truck, doing some work, doing paperwork, whatever it is, you can set that idle time. And rear occupant alert, that is an important one for anyone that may have little ones, pets, anything like that in the back. So the truck will alert you if you go ahead and kill the engine, and you need to check the back seat, make sure everything is out. Onboard modem serial number, that is just basically your serial number for the Wi-Fi connectivity. Remote start setup allows you to enable or disengage your remote start, and you can go ahead and set your climate to come on and the duration that the truck will run once it starts up from the remote start key fob. Wiper settings, we can activate courtesy wipe, and basically that will give a couple of extra wipes on the windshield. If we use the windshield washer fluid to clean the windshield, it'll basically give it just a couple of extra wipes to make sure that any fluid or debris is wiped off of the windshield. Here we can set our daytime running lights, our auto high beams, and our auto lamp display. So that is going to be all of our lighting controls. If we go into locks, we can set auto unlock whenever we kill the truck. We can set the mislock chirp. So if we hit the lock more than once, it will give us a chirp from the horn to let us know that the truck is locked. Switch inhibit will not allow the truck to be unlocked from a different door than the driver's side in the event that someone bumps the lock over on the passenger side or maybe from the back seat for whatever reason. So this will keep your kids in their seat and keep them from hitting those lock switches. Audible feedback will give you a double chirp if you hit the lock button from your key fob twice. Remote unlock allows you to configure if you want the unlock from the key fob to just open the driver's side door or to unlock all doors at once. And intelligent access allows you to toggle on and off the intelligent entry function. And that is everything in vehicle settings from our primary menu on the 13.2-inch infotainment. And going down below that in connectivity, we are circling back to multiple functions that we have already talked about. So connected vehicle features, Bluetooth, wireless app projection, and Wi-Fi. We go over to our clock. It is basically just going to give us control so that we can set AM, PM, our particular time if we want to go 24-hour mode. Auto time update, all the different displays for our time setting. Vehicle hotspot. So this truck can be equipped with a vehicle hotspot. So if you're someone that is working, maybe you're a content creator, maybe you do scene reconstructions, anything like that, and you need a mobile hotspot, I believe it's about $10 a month, something like that, to have a mobile hotspot built into your truck. That way you can just connect whatever it is, a tablet, laptop, whatever, and you have a Wi-Fi hotspot on the go. Data usage is fairly self-explanatory. Just like your smartphone, it will give you a display of all the data that you have used with the Ford hotspot. If we go into settings for vehicle hotspot, that is just basically going to be all of your WPA codes, password, different things like that for configuration of your Wi-Fi hotspot from your truck. If we go into manage devices, we can manage what devices are allowed to connect to our hotspot, and we can also block particular devices from connecting to the truck's hotspot. And if we go to help mode, we're going to get a full menu with tutorials of a ton of information in there. And so we are not going to go through all that in advance because, well, that would probably be a video all in itself. But if we go over here to activate, that is basically going to give us basic directions to go ahead and activate our hotspot on the Ford Maverick. If we swap over to the left, we're going to get the second screen on that 13.2 inch. And if we go over to mobile apps, we're going to need a phone to be connected to update all the mobile app settings. But as you can see, we already have Android Auto teed up for a USB connection, and as well, this truck does come with Apple CarPlay. Down below that, we have Valet Mode, and Valet Mode is super cool, so right now we don't need to do anything. But if we go into Valet Mode, basically what we can do is we can set particular limits, say a mile per hour or a particular speed. And it's very similar to the Ford MyKey setup, if anyone's familiar with that. But basically, we are just going to put in a 4-digit PIN. And so when the valet parks your truck, when you're in the Wi-Fi out to a nice dinner, you do not have to worry about them out flooring this truck and trying to hit the rev limiter or drive this thing off of curbs at 80 miles an hour, anything weird like that. And once you're back to your truck, you just put your 4-digit PIN in and you are good to go. Software updates is very self-explanatory. So once you're connected to a Wi-Fi connection, whether that be at home, work, office, whatever it is, it's just going to go ahead and check for automatic updates. You can also toggle that on, and you can set it for a recurring schedule, maybe overnight, something like that. And also it will give you all of your update details. Ford Assist is an absolutely cool feature. We can listen for a wake word. So let's say if our wake word is Hey Maverick, you can set it and it will be sort of like Hey Google or something like that. And it will go ahead and activate Ford Assist so that we can give it commands or ask questions. Advanced modes basically let you narrow down your prompts. And so advanced mode is toggled off from the factory. And personally, I just leave it off. But that is basically what advanced mode is for the Ford Assist. Phone confirmation will basically ask you to confirm a contact before making a call if you use a voice command. Voice command list, and you can see that it is toggled on. You can basically get an active list of whatever voice commands that the Ford Maverick will sync up with your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay phone. And if we go over to the help menu for command, we can basically go into mobile apps, climate, media, phone, radio, Sirius XM, and it will basically give us a list of all the different commands that we could use for any particular app at any time. And last but not least is 911 assist. So basically, if we toggle on 911 assist, what the truck will do is if there is a qualified accident, let's say it's severe enough and the truck knows it, it will automatically call 911 and give your position up. That way, in the event, let's just say someone is unconscious or they're rendering aid to an involved party, 911 will automatically be contacted and emergency services dispatched to your location. Now, all the way over to the right down in the middle, if we go to features, we have driver assist. And so we have our lane keeping assist. And in lane keeping assist, we can go to mode and we can get audible feedback as well as corrective feedback in the steering wheel. And for me personally, I prefer that the lane keeping assist be turned off, but that is just me. If we go over here, we can set the lane keep assist intensity to low, normal, and high. We also have pre-collision assist. So let's say if the truck is driving towards something that is a concern, it can enable automatic braking by the ABS system to keep a collision from happening. So those available toggles are pre-collision assist, automatic emergency braking, evasive steering assist, and alert sensitivity. Alert sensitivity, we have normal, low, and high. And you can see that it basically gives us a display showing that the radar on the front of the truck will pick up any object in front and assist with any sort of pre-collision situation. We can manually toggle on our rear view camera display. And so that is a pretty cool feature. And also driver alert. So what driver alert will do is if it indicates that a driver is being inattentive to the driving experience, let's say you've been on a long trip, it's a late night, and well, you're kind of drifting off into nowhere, the driver alert will let you know that you are not paying attention to what's going on in front of you. We go to towing. It gives us a connection checklist. Also, we can add a trailer. So we can set up whatever the name of that trailer is, and we can store those features for a repetitive towing experience. Let's just say if you have something like a personal watercraft, you can set all of that up so that all the information is the same, and you can just choose that trailer every time you connect to your personal watercraft. And so down below add a trailer is select your active trailer. So once you have that trailer information entered, you can just go to select active trailer and pick whatever trailer you're going to be connecting to. Manage trailers will allow you to remove a trailer if you don't have that particular trailer any longer. Trailer Connect notifications is toggled on, and that is basically going to let you know that you have connected a trailer, and it basically knows whenever you connect a trailer wiring. Sway control is definitely something that I recommend leaving on, and that is basically a safety feature that will utilize the ABS system and the steering controls to assist with any sort of trailer sway that can cause a fairly dangerous condition. And if we go over to owner's manual, anything that you want to know about this truck, you can basically look it up over here, and that is an absolute ton of information, and that would probably take a good 24-hour video. But just know that anything you want to know about this truck is going to be in this owner's manual. And one of the cool things about these digital owner's manuals that I really like these days is the fact that you can do a visual search. And so if you want to know anything about this, let's say if it's this 13.2-inch display, just tap on it and it'll give you all the details. We go back. You can also bookmark. Let's say if you do your own oil changes and you want to be reminded of a specific oil capacity, you can just bookmark whatever section it is right here in your bookmarks and get to it fairly quickly. In the owner's manual section, we have videos. So let's just say we want to know something about the exterior, vehicle care and maintenance. Let's say if we're replacing the air filter. So this will give you information about that, and you can also look up different information for different videos. So the video section of the owner's manual is an absolute cool feature. And last but not least,
record any likes, dislikes, or suggestions about the experiences with your vehicle, and then select send.
You can basically make an audio message and send it directly to Ford regarding your experience with your 2025 Ford Maverick XLT. And that wraps up this video for the 2025 Ford Maverick's 8-inch gauge cluster and the 13.2-inch infotainment system. Well, listen, I really do hope you got some good information out of this video, or I hope you just enjoyed checking out what's new on the 2025 Ford Maverick. If you have, don't forget, please do me a huge favor. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. As always, jump in for another ride.